My team at work, who helped me with a lot of corporate setups and a lot of corporate structuring, wanted me to do a blog about the 6 amazing things to know about setting up in the UAE because they do believe I'm a good ambassador for the UAE. So here goes. One of the best reasons to set up in the UAE is obviously the environment that we operate in. So the UAE is a stable environment that is growing economically and is growing in terms of its financial wherewithal and compliance quite rapidly. So it is not really a place where you can set up sort of an offshore jurisdiction. You do need to set up real companies and you need to be aware of what kind of activities you want to operate. So there are 2 options to operate in the UAE. You can be on the mainland, or you can be in a free zone, and there are a number of free zones. So there are over 45 free zones, mostly catering to things like technology, obviously digital assets, NFTs, and that kind of thing that have recently taken off quite a lot. There is obviously free zones like the Jebel Ali free zone and the Dubai Airport free zone that cater to more freight forwarding, shipping, logistics types of companies. And obviously Jebel Ali has the ability to have warehousing facilities and other facilities for goods to be kept there and as a transshipment hub. So the first idea is to understand, where do you want to be? Do you need to be on the mainland? Are you servicing UAE clients? Because there is a fine line between being on the mainland and being in the free zone. The second consideration is, do you need office space, or do you need to have a lot of visas and a lot of people? Some free zones offer flexi desks and other methodology where you don't need to physically be present as much, but it's very much encouraged because, as I said, we are not an offshore jurisdiction, and it is very much encouraged to be here to be able to operate your business. And the third aspect is bank accounts and corporate bank accounts, because it can be quite challenging to have bank accounts these days here because of the various aspects of compliance that we are facing all over the world. If you do have a relationship in another country with an international bank, perhaps that can help you or be a conduit to having a bank account set up quickly enough in the country, but that is another consideration. And then the consideration is visas and living in the country and catering for your staff. So if you do need to have a number of staff, they need to be sponsored and work here under UAE employment contracts that allow them to have what we call residence permits and work permits to be able to live and work here. These permits are generally 2 years long and they are renewable, and you do need to have a blood test and perhaps even in chest x-ray and things like that to be able to qualify for the medical requirements to get a proper residence visa. And I guess lastly, you need to think of the timeline, or how quickly do you need to be here. And you also need to understand that mainland companies and free zone companies that may be operating in the mainland will soon be taxed at a corporate rate of 9%, as the UAE has now introduced corporate taxation. So here we go. This is a very brief synopsis on setting up in the UAE. Obviously feel free to reach out if you have any questions.